In the ancient legends of Greece, where all things began in chaos and ended in myth, there was always a fragile line between order and madness, between the divine and beings too vast for gods or mortals to comprehend. And then came a war, not between men, nor even among the familiar gods, but a cataclysmic clash between the primal forces of the cosmos. The great war of the Gigantes, born of Gaia's wrath, against the Olympians, who dared to claim dominion over order and light. This was no ordinary battle. This was the Gigantomachy. A moment when heaven, earth, and the sea itself trembled. Where blood didn't merely stain the soil, but seeped into the bones of the world. Where Zeus's thunderbolts could falter before a blazing spear, and Olympus hung by a thread, one misstep from annihilation. When darkness awakens, the origin of wrath. Before the first rays of Helios ever kissed the earth. Before Mount Olympus rose in radiant splendor as the eternal symbol of divine order. There was another age. An age when the Titans reigned. When Mother Gaia slept to the whispers of wind and stone. And when order was but a fleeting breeze, never carved into stone. After the Titans were defeated in the Great Titanomachy, a 10-year war where Zeus and his siblings overthrew their own father and uncles, the world seemed, at last, to find peace. The new gods, third generation of the cosmos, claimed victory, cast the old powers into Tartarus, and crowned themselves atop Olympus in blinding glory. But like every new reign, their triumph did not bring silence. It left cracks. It left seeds of rebellion buried deep in the earth. Gaia, the primordial mother, creator of Uranus the sky and Pontos the sea, once rejoiced as her children, the Titans, nurtured the world. But when they were chained and cast into eternal torment, Gaia's heart hardened into stone. To the new gods, she saw not hope, but arrogance. In Zeus, she saw fire without mercy. In Olympus, she saw a throne built on the blood of her kin. She could not forgive. And so, she gave birth to the Gigantes. Not like the Titans. Not like the Olympians. The Gigantes were Gaia's children, born not from love or creation, but from rage. She tore open her own body and let the blood of Uranus, her once lover, maimed by their son Cronus, seep into the soil. From that fury, the Gigantes rose. They were rebellion made flesh. Jagged limbs. Clawed hands. Hair ablaze. Some were towering giants hundreds of feet tall. Others slithered, half snake, half man, burning like wildfires across the land. They bore clubs, bellowed like beasts, and some could see the future. All of them shared one thing, a hatred beyond time, for Olympus. Their names thundered from the depths. Alcyoneus, immortal so long as he stood on his native soil. Porphyrion, a colossus with eyes like molten lava. Ephialtes, whose arms could lift the very sky. To them, Gaia whispered. Zeus and his kin have forgotten who nurtured this world. Remind them. And so, the fire of Gigantomachy was lit. Smoldering in the depths. Spreading to the sea. Carried on the wind. Awaiting the day it would explode. When war erupts, the giants who reached beyond the sky. The calm sky split without warning. From deep within the earth, tremors pulsed like war drums. The ground cracked. Forests bent. Seas turned dark. And then, one by one, the Gigantes rose from Gaia's body, towering pillars of flesh and fury. Alcyoneus, the firstborn, emerged, a giant immortal on his native land of Pallene. His steps shattered mountains, his breath withered trees. He roared into the heavens, calling Zeus by name. You who sit upon the throne, have forgotten your roots. Today, I reclaim the blood of Mother Earth. He was not alone. Porphyrion followed, strong enough to crush Olympus with his bare hands, his heart a furnace that scorched sacred groves. Then Ephialtes, whose eyes saw lightning before it struck, whose cunning rivaled gods. And dozens more, each a living nightmare walking beneath the sun. Olympus trembled. Zeus, conqueror of Cronus, victor of the Titans, felt, for the first time, the cold breath of Tartarus at his back. A war council was called. All gods gathered. Hades looked up from the underworld. Poseidon rose from the sea. Athena stood silent, but her eyes burned with war. Hermes, for once, had no witty words, only dread. There was no diplomacy. Only battle. But Zeus knew what others did not: the Gigantes could not be slain by gods alone. Born of Uranus's blood, raised from Gaia's flesh, they were immune to divine wrath. Only with mortal hands could their blood be spilled. So Zeus summoned Heracles, his demigod son, a bridge between heaven and earth. The one destined to end the age of giants. And so, the war began. Alcyoneus, the immortal giant. First to bring terror was Alcyoneus, blessed with a cruel gift, immortality, so long as he stood on Pallene. He moved like a mountain, hair smoking, back crawling with live serpents. He hurled spears that cracked the planet Mars. He uprooted ancient trees for clubs. His screams split stone and changed the color of the sky. Ares charged first, spear raised, red with fury, but the giant only laughed. Hephaestus unleashed fire from his forge, but Alcyoneus stomped and turned molten earth to stone. Then came Heracles, silent, steady. He loosed an arrow that pierced the giant's shoulder, drawing the first blood. Alcyoneus laughed again as his wound healed. Zeus roared. "Drag him from the earth." Heracles understood. He chased the giant, shot arrows again and again, and finally hurled him beyond the borders of Pallene. The moment Alcyoneus's heel left home soil, he screamed, like a bull being torn apart, then collapsed. Black blood sprayed upward, turning to thunder. Alcyoneus, the immortal, was no more. But it was only the beginning. Porphyrion, the usurper. Among all Gigantes, Porphyrion was not just strong, he was arrogant. He fought not for Gaia, but to steal Olympus for himself, its throne and its queen. Porphyrion towered so high he could stand across twin peaks and see the sun beneath his feet. Amidst battle, he charged not a warrior, but Hera. He sought not to strike her, but to take her. Zeus, enraged beyond measure, waited. He let Heracles raise his bow. Just as Porphyrion reached for Hera's throat, Zeus struck him with a thunderbolt. Heracles's arrow followed, straight to the heart. Blood erupted like a river. The snakes on his body crumbled to ash. Hera watched him fall without a word. Porphyrion, the one who dared touch the queen of Olympus, died by God and man together. His was not a warrior's death, but a punishment for unforgivable blasphemy. Ephialtes, the eyes of war. Ephialtes was born with two eyes, each a star in the sky. He wasn't the tallest, nor the strongest, but he was cunning. Ruthless. A master of illusions, traps, and ambushes. He plotted to kill Apollo, crafting a false sun to lure him in. As Apollo chased the illusion, Ephialtes hurled skystones to strike him down. But Artemis, his sister, saw through the trick. With fury never before witnessed, she shot an arrow through his left eye. Ephialtes screamed and used the blood from his wound to cast a dark curse. Flames spiraled around his head. But Heracles waited. From behind, he fired the second arrow, through the right eye. The giant of starlit vision was now blind. He writhed, crawled, tried to escape back to Tartarus. But the earth itself swallowed him whole. The war raged on, loud enough to crack heaven. Gigantes' blood soaked the soil, their dying roars smothered the sun. Serpents wrapped the mountain's feet, slowing the gods. But one by one, they fell. Athena crushed Enceladus with the island of Sicily. Hermes outwitted Hippolytus. Poseidon impaled Polybotes with his trident and drowned him beneath the Aegean Sea. Each death was not just a victory, It was an epic carved in blood and thunder. When gods themselves had to fight for order. The Gigantomachy was not merely a display of divine power, it was the cosmic reckoning between two forces, divine order and primordial chaos. Though the remaining Gigantes bore less fame than Alcyoneus or Porphyrion, their blows were fierce enough to level cities, if not for the gods uniting in full force. Zeus, the storm unleashed. In the final stage of the war, Zeus no longer watched from afar. The king of Olympus, the god of thunder, descended to the battlefield himself. Cloaked in wind, crowned with lightning, he tore through the sky like a blazing storm. From above, he hurled bolt after bolt, each one tearing a Gigantes apart. With every strike, the earth shook, the seas roared, and the giants fell like burning trees. One named Clitius, who had once bested Ares, was turned to ash in a single flash of Zeus's wrath. Poseidon, the ocean's fury. From the ocean depths, Poseidon surged forth like a tidal god. His trident cleaved the earth itself. Polybotes, a Gigantes who once boasted he'd drain the seas, was chased across the waves to the island of Kos. There, Poseidon ripped a chunk of land from the earth and crushed the giant beneath it. That fragment became the island of Naxiros, and legend says Polybotes still lies buried beneath it, his rage causing the ground to tremble. Artemis and Apollo, the twin gods of death. The children of Leto did not remain silent. Apollo, with fire lyre on his back and silver bow in hand, moved with blinding speed. Each arrow, guided by divine mind, struck with unerring precision. Eurytus, a Gigantes who trapped gods in illusions, fell to a single shot through the heart. Artemis, usually calm and distant, now became fury incarnate. Her arrows never missed, even with eyes closed. The Gigantes whispered her name with dread, the White Phantom. Where she walked, death followed. Athena thunderclad wisdom. Athena did not only wield spear and shield, she wielded war itself. She faced Enceladus, the giant who could repel even Hera. After a crushing blow, Athena lifted the island of Sicily and cast it upon him, sealing his fate. They say that every time Mount Etna erupts, it is the muffled scream of Enceladus buried beneath her weight. Gaia, mother of all, witness to the end. As her children fell, one by one, Gaia the Earth Mother screamed in anguish. In desperation, she tried to give birth to a final terror. Typhon, a monster mightier than any Gigantes. A beast not for this war, but the one yet to come. A war between Typhon and Zeus. That is another tale. Another storm. And so, the great war came to an end. The earth still bore scars. But Olympus stood. Order had survived. Though barely. Gigantomachy, by Hoc Ve Tam Vong Va Su Kien Quang. Kuok Chien Jua Kak Gigantes Va Kak 6 and Kong Chi La Tran Dan Jian Le Guin Kai Tri Vu Tru, Malabu Tuong Qua Su Doi Dao Vin Vien Jua Han Lon Va Trat 2, Jua Suc Man Ban Nong Va Tri Tuesday Then Lin. Kak Gigantes Dai Dien Cho Su Noi Lon, Bao Luke Va Tam Vong Kong Gioi Han. En Hung Kong Nu Moi Huin Thoi Ko Dai Kok, Ho That Bai, Kong Chi Vi Kak 6 and Man Han. Ma vi ho kong the dung tren trat tu ma the gioi kan de van han. Va tu trong ka chuyen du, how the hok duok du gi. Rang gwin luke kong the theo tri Tuesday. Rang su noi lon theo chin nia se by nan chim. Rang, doi kai, su kien quang kong nam o suc man, ma o su don ket, long tin, va ka nong dung len bao vi the gioi koi han lon. Kemon ban de dong han trong kuok chien 6 di not tung zay ra trend in Olympus, noi ma tung not kem, tung mui ten, tung kan jong, du la loi nak vi so fan, va vien hung gioi han quatam vong.